Alright guys, I'll give you guys a quick little video, well, a quick little review of the Eternals. Now, arguably people say this is the worst Marvel film of all time. Yeah, it's up there. Um, Everybody still hate Iron Man 2. I understand why Iron Man 2 was the way it was. It was building, uh, they had to do that because they crammed a lot in that film because of, they weren't doing no solo films at the time for, Black Widow and other stuff. So they crammed a lot of stuff in, and like I said, it wasn't a awful film. People call it the worst film ever. I think Dark of the World takes that take cake. Um, I think hell, Ant-Man 2 is a little bit up there too. Um, I think Iron Man 3 is up there, but this is arguably not the greatest film of all time. It's not because they got an LGBT character in here, and it's not because the cast is so diverse. The problem with it is there are too many characters. The problem I had with this film, there was so much going on. They're doing too much. They're doing another love triangle. They're doing romance. They're doing drama. They want to exploit the LGBT community type of thing. They want to do this, and there's a little bit betrayal, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this film, and it should have one singular focus. Um, so they even explain in this film why they couldn't interfere in Thanos and Age of Ultron. Which, when you watch the film and you understand why they are protecting it, come so-called the reason that they are supposed to protect it for this certain being to emerge, it still don't make sense because it's like you would have to intervene for that instance, especially one of the characters that actually knows about it. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. People are like, well, when Martial Manhunter debuted, it was supposed to be honestly Green Lantern, but still, the character didn't make no sense. It just doesn't make sense because logically, when you watch the film, you're like, no, you definitely have to interfere for this thing to actually happen. Why didn't they interfere? It's just it doesn't, especially the character that knew about it. The deviants were a non-entity in here. I mean, they were there, but nothing to write home about. Angelina Jolie, it's nice to see her again. She was in there maybe about a good 5 minutes, give or take. Um, like I said, it was just too many characters. If they cut down the characters to maybe the LGBT one, um, the the main two with the love triangle, and maybe Angelina Jolie and that other character, and if the other deviant killed the other characters and taken their abilities, yeah, this probably would have been a cohesive film, a little better film. There was just too many characters to juggling. Um, when I saw it, I was not happy with it. The film is too long, and I think I stated this before. Yeah, the reason that Guardians of the Galaxy was good was it was a long film, but not too long enough to make you stay crazy. There was a lot going on, and still they were building up to Thanos, and we got to see Thanos. And it was connected more so to the MCU. This feels nothing connected to the MCU. It feels like DC attempt to make a Marvel film. It really does, which is crazy. They make a DC reference in this film. Go fucking figure it. This is they will correct, of course, this by the fan reaction and mostly by critics. Critics have tarnished this film, have trashed this film. So they will do correct course with this one. If this is the direction that Marvel was going to go, they're not going to go this direction no more. They're going to go back to their old direction, which is sad because I'm always a fan of doing something different. The problem with it, though, nobody asked for the Eternals. Nobody cares for the Eternals. Shang-Chi is fine because it's building to the MCU and it's leading to something dealing with Galactus, I believe, with those 10 rings. So that's cool. This doesn't lead to shit. The only thing they did was an Easter egg at the end with one character, and maybe spoiler, Blade made his voice appearance, which sound pretty good. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's there will not be Eternals too, and this will be his own little thing. If you want the Eternals, you might see it on Disney Plus as a TV show, but you will not see this as a film again. There's no way. If it does, the budget would be definitely cut down. That's my opinion. My rating, if you made it this far, thank you. Um, Probably a 4 out of 10. Five, the highest before. It's too long, very forgetful. Doesn't really add to the MCU, doesn't really take away from the MCU, doesn't really do nothing. It's one of these films where if it happened, it happened. You could tell this was an experiment and it failed. Because Marvel has been getting slack for doing the same shit over and over. But hey, if whatever works if you've been doing the same thing and it works, keep doing it. Don't do what DC does. DC's gonna do their own thing. The Suicide Squad that DC did was probably the closest we'll get to a Guardians of the Galaxy DC version film, and the closest we're gonna get. I mean, it worked because it worked for those characters. Hell, I think the Eternals, if they were rated R and got a little bit more violent and more sexual, I think that would have probably helped them because it's something different. The MCU has never done that before. The problem with the MCU is this film was it was different, but wasn't so interesting different. It was like different in a bad way. It's like you wanted to go the DC route, but you kind of didn't want to go too far. You didn't want to go your own route because you're trying to do a little bit different and trying to change up the MCU. And you can see that. And people already said this is definitely MCU for a lot of people. I've been seeing it too. But that's just my opinion. As always, God, like, subscribe, peace, have a Johnson dad. See you guys in the next video.